Hello, hello, welcome or welcome back. Let's sit back, relax, have a snack, and enjoy. Sit at My Grave, Season 4, Sanity or Salvation, Chapter 17. The veins intertwined throughout his body suddenly came alive as the hornets began forcing their needles through all at once. The pressure of its pinch prickling in was the first sensation, quickly followed by the fever swelling with it. The sensation shot through his body with a vicious pulse, a throb straight into his chest. "There's something wrong with you, Arden Adler." Arden gasped inwardly, his eyes sharply popping open. It was the first time in a while he had been fully asleep, only to be tugged awake like that. The pain seemed to fade like a memory once he was alert, only the heat lingering in his chest. Shock was replaced by a creeping fear. Something was watching. He sat up straight, despite his reclined chair, his eyes searching for a culprit in the dark. From chair to chair his gaze darted to, questioning who was asleep, who was faking it. Arden stood up, rubbing his eyes before placing a hand over his gasping chest, almost physically feeling the heat that seemed to burn there, hardly able to pant by his mouth. He tried to swallow down the feeling, but it only served to make his dry throat sting. Arden hurried after that cart, off into the halls. Arden's own strained gasp, the only noise in Arden's ears were the fading snores of sleeping passengers, along with the rumbling of the train chugging across the tracks. It was almost dark now, save for the few soft orange-hued lights still on. "Have you lost your faith? That's all your brother has to cling to." Arden stumbled, his walk slowing to a halt, pupils dilated in the dark. The hand on his chest suddenly became a grip. Jagged nails felt through the fabric. "The number is 5, Arden Adler. You'll know who succeeds the hour when you lay your eyes on them." Josiah's voice. He recognized it immediately, but somehow it sounded different. He couldn't be bothered with the details. "Josiah!" Arden's whisper came out frantic. He felt so alone, clueless, doubting himself. The spirit's whispers and all the murky decisions he made that night, down to the last swing, left him in a limbo of regret and triumph. He had no one to talk to in the physical, no one to cling to, no one he could share this burden with, and it was only getting heavier. "Please, speak to me. How much longer do I have left? Where am I supposed to go?" Arden questioned. His feet seemed to move on their own, his body too pent up to sit still. He was practically vibrating. Was it relief? Excitement for some type of closure? Those never-ending questions. Or fear. For the doubts he voiced on paper. He never truly confirmed how much of himself Josiah had access to. What could he be thinking of his apprehension? "Josiah? Josiah!" Arden's whispers fell into the silence of the train. Once again, he was alone. The sweat he'd woken up with was drying to his skin. He felt just as empty as before. He wanted to scream. He was on a dripper of information, but thirsting for more. Arden couldn't think of going back to his cart and just falling back asleep. He had to write down what little he got into his journal. His shoes patted the floor, wandering from cart to cart, glimpses of the moonshine washing over him as he passed windows. He wanted his belief in Josiah to mean something, to be able to return the dead back to their peaceful respite, to bring his brother back, whose life was, in a way, just beginning. He wanted his stabbing to be an act of righteousness, fixing what he'd done, and repairing what errors lasted from something he wasn't even a part of. That little speck of doubt, that piece in him that told him not to do it, the hurt he felt during the act, the harrowing frigidness he felt after he'd done it, it kept growing. The back of his head, slowly, unsure, but it was there. He could prune at it any way he liked, but it would always grow back. Yara's end didn't sit right with him. What right does a human have to play Reaper? Arden's quiet words were the only ones to keep him company. Miraculously, he found his journal, writing his thoughts in the light of the moon, or the dim lamps he passed in his travels to the rumbling cars. He couldn't tell if he was lost or just avoiding being in there with all those sleeping people. Voices caused Arden to hide. He wasn't sure of the time. He was unsure if he was allowed out right now. "I'm telling you, I didn't do it!" one angry voice shouted. "It was right next to you. Do you expect me to believe it just got here all on its own?" The voice of one of the workers questioned back. "What were you doing near my seat anyhow? Are you checking all the passengers? Or does this place only check certain ones?" he accused back. Arden frowned from where he tucked himself away. He'd heard that man complaining before, but he wasn't thinking much of it. In fact, he used that moment to stumble off into another car. Now all he wanted to do was get back to where he was meant to be. If passengers were getting in trouble, he didn't want to give anyone a reason to check up on him. He couldn't afford the interrogation. The low rumble of the train treading down the track was the only sound filling the silence once again. Arden had gotten lost, going from whatever car was unlocked. He debated on just staying put until it was time for his departure, but he couldn't stop worrying about looking suspicious. Arden gently ran his fingers against the cool wall of the train. It almost looked like a polished cabin in some areas. It was amazing something like this could move the way it did. He couldn't decide if he felt more eerie for the low orange lights or comfort. Either way, he didn't have time to enjoy the ride. He was still desperately trying to get back to his seat. Placing his hand on another door, he gently slid it open with a quiet shift. Arden gasped almost angrily as he entered the place cautiously. He couldn't make out the exact color of the floor, but he noticed the plush seats in the room all pointed towards the stunning windows down each row. Moonlight glittered through each of those windows, dancing on the fabric of the seats in front of them, the occasional shadow covering sights as the train constantly pushed forward. Arden remembered the room being described like this in his pamphlet. The viewing room, he thought cautiously, his eyes widened before he fished in his pocket for it. As much as he wished for Josiah to give him more, as it stood, he was receiving nothing, but he couldn't risk getting in more trouble wandering around like this. In a sudden moment, Arden's blood ran cold. His body seemed to tense, while his legs felt jellified. He had his head down, reaching around for his pamphlet, when a heavy pressure collapsed on his shoulder, causing his stance to falter.